I'm Sabrina Zainal, and this is Nightline. The top stories. Malaysia, South Korea elevate relations to strategic partnership. And crackdown on illicit crossings. Students at Thai border given 4 options. Good morning. We begin with this story. Malaysia and South Korea have elevated their bilateral relations to a strategic partnership, marking a significant milestone in their decades-long cooperation. The announcement was made during a bilateral meeting between Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim and South Korean President Yoon Suk Yeol in Seoul on Monday. Earlier on Monday, Anwar held a bilateral meeting with Yoon at the Yongsan presidential office. He noted that the republic has significantly contributed to Malaysia's development over 65 years of diplomatic relations.
Because after all, South Korea, ROK, is very known to Malaysia. I come from Penang. Penang Bridge is by you. Then now I'm in Kuala Lumpur. You have the Twin Towers by you. And again, the Merdeka 118. So all the big construction is now very much attached to the Malaysia ROK relations. So I thank you, and we want to continue.
The strategic partnership signifies the shared determination of Malaysia and South Korea to expand cooperation to new horizons in promoting freedom, peace and prosperity while addressing pressing global challenges. The two leaders also agreed to deepen defense and security ties, including cooperation in the defense industry and efforts to tackle non-traditional security issues such as cybercrime and drug trafficking. Yoon also reiterated South Korea's support for Malaysia's ASEAN chairmanship in 2025, underscoring the importance of regional and global collaboration to address shared challenges. Both leaders also witnessed the exchange of 3 memoranda of understanding on cooperation in the field of higher education, cooperation in the field of carbon capture and storage, and cooperation in cooperative approaches under Article 6, Paragraph 2 of the Paris Agreement. In the meantime, Anwar also met with several chief executive officers of South Korean companies such as Pungsan Corporation, Lotte Energy Materials, and Kumho Petrochemical. This meeting discussed high-impact investments such as semiconductor manufacturing, renewable energy, rare earth processing, and the halal food industry in Malaysia. Meanwhile, the Malaysia-Korea Free Trade Agreement will be finalized next year, with both countries committed to speeding up any stalled negotiations. Anwar said the agreement is expected to be signed during the return visit of President Yoon to Malaysia.
Our government now, the leadership, is determined to make whatever change necessary to make Malaysia attractive with correct policies, reasonable incentive, and proper adequate infrastructure, which also includes training and getting professionals with discipline and the technical know-how.
He stated that as a result of the government's efforts, Malaysia has been able to attract more high-value investments.
Now, these issues are being addressed, and that is why you can see now the pace of development and also the capacity to attract the new industries.
He said this at the Malaysia Republic of Korea Business Forum 2024, which was attended by 147 local companies, including 60 manufacturing companies, 78 services, retail and distribution companies, and 9 business associations. The negotiations have been delayed since 2019 due to the political instability that hit Malaysia at the time, but the domestic business and political scenario has now improved. This 3-day official visit to South Korea also saw both leaders reaffirming their commitment to enhancing collaboration in 4 key areas: peace and security, economic development, culture and education, and regional and global cooperation. Now, the 303 students who live in Thailand but cross Sungai Golo illegally into Kelantan daily to attend school have been given 4 options ahead of the crackdown on illicit crossings beginning December 1st. State Police Chief Datuk Muhammad Yusuf Mamat said the first option was students would be offered places at their school hostel. If the school does not have a hostel, option 2 would be staying at the lodgings of another institution. The third option was for students to rent a house near the school, and the last option was to enter Kelantan via the Immigration, Customs, Quarantine and Security Complex. Based on the National Security Council's figures, 303 students use illegal jetties every day as their parents live in Sungai Golok town. Of that number, 221 attend Education Ministry institutions and 82 are studying at Kelantan Islamic Foundation facilities.
Jadi semalam immigration dah buat keputusan bahawa dia bersedia untuk buka pukul 6. Tak ada masalah. Sebab Thailand pun tak ada masalah. Sebenarnya dulu pun dah implement pukul 6. Bila mana COVID dia ubah pukul 7.
Many Malaysians cross into Thailand for shopping and entertainment. However, many are believed to prefer entering Thailand by crossing Sungai Golok illegally via the many jetties that dot the river, which is part of the Malaysian-Thai border. Smuggling is also rampant along the porous 96-kilometer-long border. Meanwhile, Education Minister Fadlina Sidek said the ministry aims to resolve the issue involving the students before December 1st.
Jadi kita telah pun mengambil pendekatan menyediakan, menyuraikan mereka dalam bentuk menempatkan mereka di asrama dan kenal pasti asrama yang boleh mereka tinggal untuk keselamatan dan meneruskan pendidikan mereka.
Follow-up action will include discussions with guardians to place the students in hostels. The Immigration Department will introduce a special online pass, ESP, for foreign nationals wishing to enter and stay in Malaysia for no more than 30 days, effective from January next year. Home Minister Datuk Sri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail on Monday said this initiative is part of the government's efforts to digitalize and enhance administrative efficiency.
Pas ini adalah merupakan satu dokumen yang dikeluarkan kepada warga asing bertujuan untuk memberi hak kepada pemegang masuk dan tinggal di Malaysia tidak melebihi 30 hari berdasar pada peraturan 14 Peraturan Immigration 1963.
Saifuddin explained that the application and issuance of special passes are currently handled manually, requiring applicants to be physically present at the counter to submit their documents. He noted that approximately 50% of foreign nationals visiting the immigration office are there to address matters related to their stay in Malaysia, resulting in congestion at the visa, pass and permit division. The introduction of the ESP is expected to help alleviate this congestion. Foreign nationals awaiting decisions on new applications, extensions or changes to their long-term social visit pass, or those dealing with issues such as hospitalization due to illness, traffic accidents, natural disasters, or other justifiable circumstances will be able to apply for the ESP. Despite this latest initiative, Saifuddin assured that his ministry will not compromise on security. In Terengganu, a couple and their daughter were tragically killed in a crash involving a car and a pickup truck in Kampung Sungai Lirik, Situ on early Monday morning. The incident occurred at 4:50 a.m. on Jalan Kuala Terengganu, Kota Baru in Kampung Sungai Lirik. Situ Police Chief Deputy Superintendent Muhammad Zain Madris said the deceased were identified as 55-year-old Kamaruddin Ibrahim, his wife 54-year-old Maimunah Mat Isa, and their daughter Nur Ardiana, aged 30, who was driving the car. The family was returning to their home in Kota Baru after attending their other daughter's convocation in Putrajaya when the accident happened. Both Maimunah and Nur Ardiana were killed at the scene, while Kamaruddin died at Situ Hospital. The couple's other daughter, 22-year-old Nur Azwa Shamimi, is in critical condition and receiving treatment at the Sultanah Nur Zahira Hospital. The driver of the pickup truck, a 24-year-old vegetable seller, and his passenger escaped with minor injuries. The cause of the crash is being investigated under the Road Transport Act. Meanwhile, in Selangor, police arrested a local man and his foreign mistress suspected to be involved with an international drug trafficking syndicate during a raid at a boarding house in Sekinchan, Sabak Bernam last Thursday. In the 5 p.m. operation, police also seized 3.3 million ringgit worth of shabu. Bukit Aman Narcotics Criminal Investigation Department NCID Director Datuk Sri Kau Kok Chin said that the 31-year-old man and 28-year-old Indonesian woman were caught along with 3 plastic packs of shabu weighing 83.15 grams. The male suspect, who is married and worked as a mechanic, then led police to a car parked at a house in Sungai Air Tawar, which led to the discovery of 91 packets of herbal tea containing 94.64 kilograms of shabu in the boot of the car.
Dan di sini kalau kita lihat modus operandi, dia beroperasi mendapatkan bekalan lalah tu daripada negeri utara tanah air kita, dan akan dihantar ke negara jiran melalui jalan laut.
Checks revealed that the suspects, acting as a transporter and a storekeeper, received a payment of 140,000 ringgit per shipment and are believed to have successfully sent 1 shipment before they were caught. Both suspects tested positive for drugs, with the male suspect having several previous criminal and drug-related records. They have been remanded for 6 days until this Wednesday to assist investigations under the Dangerous Drugs Act. The Communications and Multimedia Content Forum of Malaysia, CMCF, has welcomed TikTok as its newest member in the newly established category of technology, media and digital service providers. This marks a significant milestone, as it is the first time a short-form mobile video platform has joined CMCF following amendments to the organization's constitution earlier this year. In a statement on Monday, CMCF Chairman Rafiq Razali said this milestone reflects the forum's commitment to building a balanced and responsible digital ecosystem. He added that TikTok's inclusion marks an important step forward for the forum in shaping industry policies, ensure content responsibility, and enhance trust in the digital space for the benefit of consumers across Malaysia. Meanwhile, CMCF Chief Executive Officer Mediha Mahmud said the forum looks forward to a productive and impactful partnership with TikTok in shaping the future of digital content. CMCF also welcomes other digital platforms to join the forum to ensure its content policies align with international best practices, comply with Malaysia's laws, and meet the unique needs of the community. Local institutions were the primary supporters of Bursa Malaysia for the 5th consecutive week, recording a net inflow of 250.6 million ringgit last week. This was an increase from the 207.7 million ringgit recorded in the previous week. Fund flow report for the week ending November 22nd, MIDF Amanah Investment Bank Berhad noted that local retailers turned net sellers during the week, with total outflows amounting to 85.3 million ringgit. Foreign investors also continued to sell on local bourse, with outflows totaling 165.3 million ringgit. According to MIDF, the average daily trading volume, ADTV, showed declines across all investor categories. Foreign investors recorded a decline of 3.6%, while local institutional investors and retail investors saw decreases of 5.7% and 6.1% respectively. Across Asia, foreign investors continued their net selling for the 8th consecutive week, with 12.67 billion ringgit in total outflows. Bank Muamalat Malaysia Berhad was honored with the inaugural World Islamic Banking Excellence Award at the World Muslim Leadership Forum, WMLF 2024. The event was held in London, United Kingdom, last Friday. The award was presented by the Minister of State in the UK's Department for Work and Pensions, Sir Stephen Timms, to Bank Muamalat Chairman Tan Sri Tajuddin Attan and its President and Chief Executive Officer, Khairul Kamaruddin, at the House of Lords, Palace of Westminster. In a statement, Bank Muamalat said that the recognition celebrates the bank's exemplary contributions to society, business leadership, and advancing social finance initiatives, setting a benchmark for excellence in ethical banking, leadership, and sustainability. Tajuddin was also quoted as saying that the recognition underscores the team's dedication and reaffirms their commitment to providing innovative and ethical banking solutions. For over a decade, the WMLF has served as a platform for discussions on the role of Muslim leadership in tackling contemporary global challenges. Oil prices slipped on Monday following 6% gains last week, but supply worries amid mounting tensions between Western powers and major oil producers Russia and Iran kept a floor under prices. Brent crude futures fell 43 cents or 0.57% to $74.74 a barrel by early Monday, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude futures were at $70.73 a barrel, down 51 cents or 0.73%. Both contracts last week notched their biggest weekly gain since late September to reach their highest settlement level since November 7th after Russia fired a hypersonic missile at Ukraine in a warning to the United States and Britain following strikes by Kiev on Russia using U.S. and British weapons. Jae-sung scores as Mines cruises past Kiel. Sports after this breather.
Jual minyak masak paket bersubsidi melebihi harga kawalan.
Minyak $2.5.
Kerja berapa ringgit? RM4 kan?
Bekalan pula disimpan secara rahsia di luar premis.
Hak yang dibenarkan dalam tu adalah 500 saja. Dan kita buat semakkan, ada simpanan di luar-luar juga disimpan.
Saksikan 999 Selasa jam 9 malam di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
A woman's spirit is boundless. So grab your coffee cups and wear your sassiest smile. Because this season, we're louder than ever. We talk career, health, finance, relationships, and everything in between. Women's Talk is here to empower and inspire you. Join us on Women's Talk every Saturday, 5 p.m. only on TV3 and stream now on Tonton.
Annyeong Cinggu! Masa untuk K-drama. Dear M, Strong Girl Bongsun, Descendants of the Sun. Layan drama Korea pilihan anda setiap Isnin hingga Khamis 11 malam dan ulangannya Jumaat dan Sabtu 5.30 petang di Camsarang TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton. Memang debak lah!
3 suspek ini adalah ahli dalam satu kumpulan haram yang bergiat aktif di KL dan juga Selangor.
Tapi tuan-tuan, siapa kumpulan haram ni sebenarnya?
Polis, tolong! Saya telefon awak tak jawab. Saya nak cakap pasal anak kita.
Polis Peronda setiap Jumaat 10 malam di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Sports now, football, the German Bundesliga. Lee Jae-sung scored his third goal of the season to cap a 3-0 away victory for Mainz against struggling Holstein Kiel. Mainz opened the scoring in the 11th minute after Nadim Amiri launched a low-driven shot that found the bottom left corner of the net. The visitors were then awarded a penalty in the 35th minute after a handball incident by Gigovic. Jonathan Burkhardt stepped up and calmly slotted in the spot kick to make it 2-0 for the visitors. Lee Jae-sung put the result beyond doubt midway through the second half with a header, stealing a comfortable 3-0 victory. With the win, Mainz are 8th in the table, while Kiel remains in the relegation zone. Still on football, the Saudi Pro League. Goals from Fabinho and Hussein Awar gave Al Ittihad a 2-0 win over Al Fateh to send them top of the league. Al-Ittihad scored in the 16th minute through Al-Shehri. However, the goal was later reviewed as offside. Ittihad finally found their breakthrough 2 minutes before the hour mark. Mario Mitaj's cross was converted by former Liverpool midfielder Fabinho. Former AS Roma midfielder Hussein Awar sealed the victory for his side just before the final whistle, as he found himself at the end of Al-Ubud's cutback cross. With the victory, Ittihad are now top of the league, just 2 points ahead of Al Hilal. Moving on to tennis now, the 2024 Davis Cup. Jannik Sinner completed his sensational year by leading Italy to a successful defense of the trophy with victory over the Netherlands in the final. Matteo Berrettini put the defending champions ahead with a convincing 6-4, 6-2 win over Botik van de Zandskoep before world number 1 Jannik Sinner eased to a 7-6, 6-2 triumph against Talon Griekspoor for the winning point. Sinner ends 2024 with titles at the Australian Open, US Open and the ATP Finals, while Italy became the first team to defend the title since the Czech Republic in 2013 and the fifth nation to win it along with the Billie Jean King Cup in the same season. Casualties mount as Storm Bert batters the United Kingdom. The details when Nightline returns.
Sepucuk nota ditinggalkan mangsa kes samun dan bunuh di Kampung Batu Papan, Gua Musang, Kelantan semalam.
Adakah mahkamah menerima dying declaration itu daripada sudut undang-undang?
Nyawa balas nyawa. Saya tengok betapa tragisnya kanak-kanak bila melihat sendiri kejadian yang boleh menyebabkan ibu kesayangan mereka meninggal.
Sam, nampak jam saya tak?
Alah, awak yang tak kemas betul-betul. Semaklah, serabut tau.
Hidup ini keras. Kita patut bertolak ansur dengan pasangan kita.
Kita kena ambil berat, ambil peduli dan saling berkongsi kesenangan dan kepayahan kerana ia adalah penghubung kasih sayang.
Lebih segar, lebih dinamik. Laporan komprehensif menghidupkan pagi anda.
Buletin pagi dengan waktu yang baharu. 9.30 pagi setiap hari bermula 1 November.
Wakare yo. 納得いかないと。自分だって同じ女の子振ってんじゃん。
今、さくらくんの顔を見て話すのつらい。
Silent setiap Sabtu dan Ahad 7 malam di Yoshi TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
We're back with foreign news. The Israeli government on Monday is moving towards a ceasefire in the war with Hezbollah. And while Lebanese officials voiced guarded optimism, they said Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was not to be trusted. According to a source, Netanyahu had approved the emerging deal in principle. However, Israel still had reservations over some details. Meanwhile, in Beirut, Deputy Parliament Speaker Elias Bou Saab stated that a decisive moment was imminent and expressed cautious optimism, noting that the balance was slightly leaning toward the possibility of an agreement. He, however, emphasized that the margin was minimal, as he believed an individual like Netanyahu could not be trusted. The Zionist regime, in the meantime, carried out further airstrikes on the southern suburbs known as Dahiyeh on Monday, saying it struck Hezbollah military headquarters. The regime also intensified its strikes across the Gaza Strip, where at least 4 people were killed, while tanks deepened their incursions in the northern edge of 2 towns of Beit Hanun and in Beit Lahia and Jabalia. Meanwhile, the supreme leader of Iran, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, who backs the Hamas and Hezbollah in Gaza and Lebanon, said on Monday that death sentences should be issued for Israeli leaders, not arrest warrants.
کاری که اینا کردن پیروزی نیست، جنایت جنگی است. حکم بازداشتشو صادر کردن، کافی نیست. حکم اعدام نتانیاهو.
Khamenei was commenting on a decision by the International Criminal Court, ICC, to issue arrest warrants on Thursday for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, his former defense chief, and a Hamas leader, Ibrahim al-Masri. In their decision, the ICC judges said there were reasonable grounds to believe Netanyahu and Yoav Gallant were criminally responsible for acts including murder, persecution, and starvation as a weapon of war as part of a widespread and systematic attack against the civilian population of Gaza. Moving on, the northern Indian city of Sambal is on alert after 4 people died and dozens more injured in violent clashes over a centuries-old mosque on Sunday. Now, clashes broke out between protesters and the police during a court-monitored survey of the Shahi Jama Mosque, a federally protected 16th century monument. It was reported that the protesters set some vehicles on fire and threw stones at the police, who used tear gas and batons to disperse the mob. In response to the unrest, authorities in Uttar Pradesh state, where Sambal is located, have suspended internet services and shut schools in the area for a day. The survey was ordered by a local court last week, hours after a petition claimed that the mosque had been built on the site of a destroyed temple. Now, at least 5 people were killed after Storm Bert battered the United Kingdom over the weekend, causing widespread flooding and closing roads and railways on Monday. Officials said there were more than 200 flood warnings and flood alerts in place across England and Wales, while trains from London to the southwest were cancelled and rail services in central England were severely disrupted. Major roads in Northamptonshire and Bristol were also closed, while fallen trees on rail lines cut off services between London and Stansted Airport, Britain's 4th busiest hub. The fatalities were reported in multiple locations across Britain. Meanwhile, the Met Office kept a warning for strong winds in place for northern Scotland on Monday and said the storm would clear from that part of the country early on Tuesday. In the meantime, 1 crew member was killed after a cargo plane crashed on approach to an airport in Lithuania's Vilnius before skidding into a nearby house early Monday. Now, according to authorities, 3 others on board the flight, including the pilot, survived the crash, along with 12 people in the house who were safely evacuated. 3 rescued crew members, 1 Lithuanian national, 1 German, and 1 Spanish, remain in the hospital. The cargo plane flying from Leipzig, Germany, was due to land at Vilnius airport when it crashed a few kilometers from the runway. Officials said the plane skidded on the ground for several hundred meters before hitting a residential home. Authorities have launched an investigation into the incident, although no evidence has been found to suggest an explosion preceded the crash. And that concludes Nightline this time around. Before we leave, let's take a look at this giant representation of Mars that went on show in the historic painted hall of the old Royal Naval College in Greenwich. With that, I'm Sabrina Zainal. Thank you for watching and stay safe.